Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Before we start, let me introduce myself first. My name is Zian Salma and my student ID is 1123014000000100 and I'm here from class C and the subject is Extensive Reading 2025. Okay guys, in this video, I'm going to talk about 10 academic articles that focus on how songs and music can be used in English language teaching. And yep, you heard that right. We're talking about using music not just for fun, but as a real strategy to help people learn English better and more effectively. So, here's how this will go for each article. I'll explain 5 things. First, the content. So, the content is about what the article is about. Second, the benefit, why it's useful. Third, the strength, what makes the article strong. Fourth, the weakness. And the last is the interconnection, like how each article relates to the others. So, the ideas all flow together. Alright, let's jump straight into the first article. The title is The Use of Song in English Language Teaching, a Systematic Literature Review to Identify Advantages and Appropriateness of Age Categories by Catherine Wong Junhui and Khairul Azhar Jamaluddin. The content is systematic review of 13 studies that explore the use of songs in English classrooms. It focuses on the advantages of using songs and how suitable they are for different age groups. The benefit is that songs can improve listening, speaking, vocabulary, retention, and overall motivation. They also help reduce stress and create a more enjoyable learning environment. The strength is the structured method used the Prisma approach and also reliable database like Scopus and Google Scholars give the article strong academic credibility. But of course, no article is perfect. The weakness is that it doesn't explore the different teaching strategies needed for each age group, so the findings feel a bit too general. So, the interconnection is that this article provides a solid foundation for the next ones, especially those that focus on practical application and classroom experiments. Now, let's move on to the second article. This one takes a more hands-on approach with real classroom research. So the title is The Great Effect of Applying Music on Learning Second Language by Hattie Kim Ling and Ting. The content is an experimental study involving university students. The researchers used music in English classes and measured student improvement through pre- and post-tests. The benefit is that students who learn with music saw better vocabulary retention and were more motivated compared to those in the control group. The strength is the use of actual classroom data and measurable results. It clearly proves that music can support language learning in their academic setting. So that being said, the study has one limitation. The weakness is that it only focuses on college students, so the results might not apply to younger learners or different learning environments. The interconnection is that this article builds on the first one by turning theory into practice. It gives us clear evidence that supports the advantages previously discussed. Okay, the third article shifts the focus a bit. Instead of testing what works, it explains why music actually helps. The title is Music in the Foreign Language Classroom, How and Why by Pauline de Graaf. The content is a theoretical exploration of why music works in language learning. It explains how rhythm, emotion, and repetition help improve memory, pronunciation, and fluency. The benefit is that songs create a natural and emotionally engaging way to learn. They support not just language input, but also learner confidence and motivation. The strength is the solid theoretical background. The article draws from fields like psycholinguistics and cognitive science, which strengthen its arguments. However, even with that strong base, there's something missing. The weakness is that it like practical example of classroom application, so it might feel abstract or teachers looking for concrete guidance. The interconnection is that this article explains the why behind experiments in Article 2. Together, they show that music not only works but also makes sense scientifically. Okay, moving on the fourth article. This one takes us straight into the classroom with practical application of music and songs. The title is Use of Music and Songs as Pedagogical Tools in Teaching English as Foreign Language Context by Tribuan Kumar and others. The content focuses on how teachers use songs to teach vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation in real EFL classrooms. It highlights different ways music is integrated into lessons. The benefit is that songs increase student participation, improve retention, and help create a fun, interactive learning environment, especially when students can sing along or reflect on lyrics. The strength is that it gives practical insights from classroom experiences, making useful for teachers who want to try similar techniques. Even so, there's still a drawback. The weakness is that the article doesn't include any experimental data, so its claims are based more on observation than on measurable evidence. The interconnection is that it complements Article 3 by showing how theoretical benefits of music can actually be applied in a real classroom. Now, for the fifth article, we're bringing in some technology. This one doesn't just talk about using songs, it combines them with multimedia tools to make learning even more effective. The title is Effects of Multimedia Assist Song Integrated Teaching on College Students, English Learning Interests and Learning Outcomes by Yuzulo and others. The content is about combining songs with multimedia tools like videos and slides in college-level English classes. The benefit is that students become more motivated and improve in listening and vocabulary when music was combined with visuals. The strength is the use of experimental data. They compare pre-test and also post-test, so the results are measurable and reliable. Still, one limitation remains. The weakness is that the study only focused on student college. So, it's unclear how well this method would work with younger learners. The interconnection is that it builds on Article 2 by adding a multimedia layer to the proven benefits of using songs in language teaching. Next up, in the sixth article, and this one's all about motivation. You know, sometimes students aren't just struggling with grammar, they're struggling to stay awake. This article looks at how songs can fix that. The title is The Use of Songs and Music as a Motivational Tool in ELT by Malika Kolyorkizi Khidrova and Saknoza Brivnam Nasirova. The content explores how songs affect students emotionally, helping them feel more relaxed and engaged during lessons. The benefit is that music lowers anxiety, boosts student confidence, and also makes them more willing to participate. The strength is how it emphasizes emotional factors in learning, which are often overlooked in other studies. And that said, it's missing one important thing. The weakness is that it doesn't provide detailed classroom strategies or song examples to guide teachers. And last, the interconnection is that it ties in with Article 5 by showing that music isn't just academically helpful, it also transforms the classroom atmospheres. Alright, article number 7 goes even deeper, not just into language learning but also into how music impacts things like creative thinking, self-esteem, and also even academic performance. Pretty cool, right? Okay, the title is Language Learning Music on Academic Achievement, Creative Thinking, and Self-Esteem of the EFL Learners by Meng Chen, Muhammad Muhammadi, and Siros Izadpana. The content is an experimental study that looks at how music impacts three things: academic performance, creativity, and also self-esteem. The benefit is that students didn't just learn better, they also felt better and thought more more creatively. The strength is its holistic approach, showing that music supports both cognitive and emotional growth. However, there's a small catch. The weakness is that the study covers too many areas at once, so some findings aren't fully explored. The interconnection is that this article complements Article 6 by reinforcing how music helps learners feel confident and success beyond the classroom. Okay, now let's move on to the 8th article. This one brings us back into the real classroom, specifically with high school students. If you've ever wondered whether songs work for teenagers, this article has the answer. The title is Teaching English to High School Students, the Song by Maria Romanita Camara and Adriana Zanin. The content shares experiences of teaching English through song in high school settings, focusing on student relation, focusing on student reactions and engagement. The benefit is that songs help teenagers participate more, understand vocabulary in text, and become more interested in the lessons. The strength is the realistic classroom perspective. It shows what actually works with teens. But there's a small downside. The weakness is that it based on the schools only with one statistical data, so the results might not apply broadly. The interconnection is that it adds to Article 4 by showing how music works in secondary education, not just in theoretical or university settings. Now we're on the ninth article, and this one is seriously loaded with data. It's systematically review that looks at how songs affect language skills like vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation from preschool all the way up to secondary school. The title is Investigating the Subjunctive Linguistic Effect of Using Songs for Teaching Second or Foreign Languages to Preschool, Primary, Secondary School Learners, a systematic review of interpretation research by Catherine Hamilton and others. The content is a systematic review that analyzes how songs affect vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation from preschool to high school learners. The benefit is strong evidence that songs help with language development, especially for young learners. The strength is that based on multiple interpretation studies, making its findings reliable and data-driven. Still, it's not without flaws. The weakness is that it doesn't explain how to implement the findings in real classroom. There's no practical guidance. The interconnection is that this article depends what Article 1 started by showing exactly how songs improve specific language skills. Alright, last but definitely not least, the 10th article, after all the research and classroom studies, this one takes a different angle. It looks at what teachers themselves think about using songs in English teaching. The title is The Influence of Music and Educational Songs on EFL Students' Achievement from Their Teachers' Perspective in Jenin Region by Tahani R.K. Basharat and team. The content is based on surveys and interviews with EFL teachers about their experience using songs in the classroom. The benefit is that teachers notice better motivation, focus, and participation among students when songs were used. The strength is the combination of quantitative and qualitative data. It gives both numbers and real opinions. But there's one limitation. The weakness is that the study was limited to one region, so the insight may not apply everywhere. The last is the interconnection is that this article wraps up the topic nicely by showing how everything we've discussed depends on how confident and well prepared the teacher is. Okay guys, that concludes my presentation on the 10th article related to the use of songs and music in English language teaching. Throughout these studies, we have seen how music doesn't just entertain, it helps improve language skills, interest, motivation, and creates a more engaging classroom atmosphere. Hopefully guys, this review gave a clear and structured overview of each article's contribution and how they are all connected to one another. Thank you so much for listening guys, and thank you for your attention and for your time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.